this draft.
No holding your cards close to the chest. You gotta lay them all out on the table. It's the river.
More than half a decade of hope and glory on the line. And of course, the first ticket to the grand finals of MSC at EWC 26. Let's get it on.
It's been a hell of a series. It's game number 5. It feels like a grand finals if you ask me at this point. YG with another draft in their pocket. Falcon as well. We've had different picks throughout every single game. And I love the way the panel put it. They are digging deep. It could be anyone's game at this point. Already so much aggression from both teams. Both junglers possibly have to go back. Blink has a quicksand guard, so he should be okay.
The draft has definitely evolved. Again, they're able to split up the Zushin and the Glue. And then, of course, Neri and Esmeralda Insight early invade here coming in from Yangon Galacticos. And that Phoveus from out of nowhere. Again, multiple conversations I've had prior to this game starting amongst the community. Is Phoveus dead? And here at Red 5, possibly the most important game in this series, Phoveus comes up in the hands of the Filipino cannon.
It has been, and also in this series, it's been a banned pick. It's been one that Falcon hasn't been able to get their hands off, and the one times that it is let through, it's not even picked up in the beginning. It's picked up at the end as a last thing in the Swiss Army knife for Falcons. Can flat be the difference here? Ying as well on the Sora, another pick we haven't gotten to see a lot of. So much on the shoulders of these EXP laners right now.
Ying and Flap. Fortunately, neither of them have died. And again, this game has taken a turn after we've seen so much action in the first 2 minutes throughout the group stage. Early knockouts, we could have sworn the meta has changed, but no. When the best of the Philippines, the best of Myanmar come through, macro reigns supreme. Early presence here. Han holding that pixel brush. Blink with a pull. Ogwin flushes him out. Kyle here holding on. Oh, sees Blink.
Han will get to level 5 before this turtle. Kyle's going to try to go back to this orange buff and scale along with him. Both teams taking it slow, so slow. They know exactly what is on the line. Down in the gold lane, the swap back and forth between this Moskov and this Clint has consistently happened. But one thing we have to point out, Super Marco on the Claude has been monstrous.
Denying it from Sanji alone is such a power play. And I'm glad that we were able to take a peek at the gold lane, because that's essentially where the duel is happening. And as we speak, it's happening now while these two teams dance around the turtle.
We do have a level up on Han between him and Kyle, which means Falcons have to really try to get an advantage here. They have to try to stun, and there goes a pursuit onto Han. A lot of damage locks in, but Ying's still able to take the turtle. Gets a knock up on Ogwin, crashing down. The fists are hitting hard, but Ogwin's there now, taking a ride onto Ying. Falcons looking for the response. No members on either team go down. Turtle goes over to YG.
Marco going for that double. Rampage Sandstorm jumped in. Blink spent his ult to deny Marco a clean double wave.
All right. I like the way both teams are playing right now. There's sustainability around the map. There's crowd control on both sides. There's engage, re-engage. This game could definitely go the distance.
There's a combo that they're waiting for. Falcons want to get the perfect Fury of the Phoenix into a chain on that demonic pursuit. The demonic wave into infernal pursuit. Bop, bop, bop. That's what they're looking for. For YG, came a little closer, came a little easier, right? A flicker into a shifting skies. So we're taking aspects of games 1 to 4 and putting them into practice now with some new picks as well. So this is a series that's been building game to game to game. Falcons have a small lead, but you can only really chalk that up to a little better mobility across the map for them, since, you know, a Harley is slightly more mobile than a Guinevere. Easier double laning from Super Marco. And I think that's what we're looking for. A mid-game power spike from Falcons that could eventually turn YG around, make up the difference for that ease of execution.
But you could say the same for YG here. All it takes is one good combo from them as well. One nice Violent Requiem paired up with the Beacon, followed up by the Shifting Skies. There's a lot of possibilities on both teams to make one major play to give them that 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead.
They're neck deep in crowd control. They literally have a bit of crowd control on everyone. So that's what Falcons is trying to skirt. That's what they're playing around. Again, the fact that it's only Marco who has a Purify and Haji who has his passive. Once that's popped, then Yangon has free reign. That's what Falcons is taking all this time for.
What's insane about the amount of crowd control on both teams, there is only one Purify between 10 players. Both teams putting their all on an aggressive route, or on a micro route, I would say, looking for the outplays, looking for the chance to make something happen with these flickers. Kai's trying to make entry for Ying. Blink there as well. Han finally comes in, get the Violent Requiem. A lot of damage, locks in. Super Marco comes over to Blazing Duet. Kai's able to take out Flap as Marco unable to put any damage on to Blink in the backside. Han does go down though. It's 1-for-1, Flap for Han. YG end up losing out on that one.
Not so fast. There is a chubby wave left over by Sanji in that push up top. Falcons quick to find redemption as they push down bottom. Kyle!
Kyle in a lot of trouble here.
Space escape was at such short range. That was 3 members of YG dogpiling on him.
And that will even the playing field in that last trade, because yes, the tower went down on top side, but tower also falls to Super Marco. And if they didn't find a play there, YG could have taken a huge step back, but now Gold still sitting at a complete standstill. Structures at a complete standstill.
Nothing comes for free. Yangon Galacticos and Falcons, believe it or not, are much more similar than one would like to admit. They are very macro-centric. Sure, good team fighting, great maneuvers, tactics on the map, but it has to make sense at the bottom line. When you look at that number at the end, how much do we get out of that? They have to have gotten their margins checked, and that's what that kill was on a Kyle. Kyle has to watch himself again. It's a death per jungler, Han and Kyle. The EXP lane, though, I think this is where the difference lies. Flap is a little more willing to sacrifice himself, while Ying is still the hero play. Ying still counts his shifting skies as if it was the game changer. It was the win. Ooh, nice steal by Sanji.
Very well done. Both teams back to just letting their junglers do what they do best. YG, Han does take a camp up on the top side. He's holding a level ahead of Kyle right now, and it's kind of been the story. Even though he's on the Guinevere, he's been able to keep himself ahead in terms of juggling. It's with those little camp steals that he's taking. A little lizard here, a little bug on the top side. Anything to try to get the level advantage on the next objective. Which is something that Kyle has to watch out for, because more than just a cleanup, Kyle has to also keep up with the farm, which he hasn't been. He just reached level 10 now, while all this while Han was already level 11. So now in this final turtle, each of them a piece. We'll see how, with the Fury of the Phoenix, finally maybe Falcons can find that combo. Turtle down on 8. Ogwin jumps on Han. That might be the answer right there. Han unable to get it. Haji takes a turtle. Raging Sandstorm to the backside, but it's still not enough. Super Marco with a Blazing Duet. Ying goes down. Kai's on the run. It's a double kill for Kyle. Sanji takes a tower off map. And Falcons are capitalizing, but Sanji helps save the day, helps even the playing field by taking out Kyle as Falcons collapse onto Blink. Blink going for a ride. That's Ogwin hitching along.
That's the flicker. Blink denied further damage by flickering back, and you know the saying, better flickerless than dead. And only if Falcons could have cut down their losses, which I can't blame. Again, Kyle is such a softie. Looking at this whole lineup, Kyle is the most vulnerable of them all. And the reason how this worked is the perfect synchronization of all of their ults. Look at that, all the greens gone. That is what Falcons is looking for.
In the super delayed SOD, Sanji doesn't commit to it first. First he takes the tower, and then he SODs. Kyle thinks he's in the save, and up pops Sanji from the back.
Final nanosecond is what it takes in Sanji. Yes, take away my Claude, but my Pocket Moskov is also pretty darn good. 1-0-1. Super Marco has maybe a little bit more in the bank, but Sanji, now he's taken the past 2 games to get used to it, and he's up 700. Look at that. So now I think Falcons, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they have to pay attention to Sanji. They have to find a way to put a beat on this Moskov. And I think, say what you will about the last time that they met here in this game, but I think it's got to be on Kyle. Kyle has to be on Sanji guard, because looking at the rest of the lineup, Ogwin's been dealing with a little too much.
Ooh, another tower dropped low. YG make their way down bottom as Falcon try to break through, but they are in a little bit of a pincer here. They need to be careful on this engage. Super Marco able to get onto Sanji. Sanji gets knocked up. He tries to be MI away, but they've all collapsed onto him. He will go down. Han unable to get the engage. Blink in the backside, use a quicksand guard, but Kyle's already onto him. It's too much damage.
No flicker.
Doesn't have the flicker. One more shot. He uses the conceal. Where is he going?
There was a universe where it may be a 5 to 6% chance that Blink wasted more time, got away with it, because by jumping in, And without the blind space escape card trick, he would have gotten away. But alas, here we are now. 2 dudes down for Yangon Galacticos. Falcons blitzing the Lord.
And there's just no way in. YG has finally given it up. Oh.
All right, body block.
Close. It was close.
Good call, but I don't think Sanji would have pressed it anyways. He was going for the steal. And we've seen that before. Historically, we've seen that before. One more look at that sequence. I said it was Kyle who should be checking in on Sanji, but hey, 3 dudes work as well.
You know, in that fight there, YG, I wanted to see him close the distance a little bit faster. I don't know if they felt like Sanji was a definite getaway or not, but in the end, losing Sanji there, then losing Blink, it was an easy Lord take, and finally we see a team get past the 1K gold mark in terms of a lead.
Even with just the pick up on Sanji, I think that would have been a clean Lord take either way. That's how fast I think Falcons can move, and that's how good they are at recognizing this window of opportunity. Now they have a 2,000 gold lead. Haven't quite closed the gap between Sanji and Marco. Now about 200, 300 between these 2 gold laners. And they get a push up top. This is it. Falcons are in pole position. They're in the driver's seat.
YG has to try to not lose any inhibitors here. It's a bad position if they do, especially with Lord coming down on bot side next. Lord finally taking out a couple more shots. Yahan able to take it. No, Han on the bot side pushing lane right now.
Dang.
YG gonna jump in. Ogun gets pulled back in. Super Marco with the blazing duet. A whole bunch of damage, but he doesn't get the final shot as Haji and Ogun are caught under the tower. Sanji finally falls, but Haji will fall as well as Blink. With the quicksand guard still alive. Does get CC'd and taken out. Kai's with a double kill. And look at Han on that bottom lane against the base.
Ever seen a Guinevere pretend to be a Ling or a Fanny? That's what Han has done here. Falcons got punished hard inside. I don't think they're going to be able to push in. In comes Flap, Flicker, Dark Wave. Fight's happening. He should be fine.
Magic.
Han's okay.
He's good.
Han's okay. Turret did not fall. But that's as good as it gets for YG, all right? Inside their base, they get a good punish. Sure, they traded Sanji out for it, but they also get a push down bottom.
And the gold difference is equalized as well.
Yep, again, about 500, 1,000 between them. But just the same, Yangon Galacticos are about their wits. It's not like they lost their footing. It's not like they're panicking. And believe it or not, despite the free Lord, Trex, despite the free Lord, the map is at equilibrium. That's how good YG are at macro.
Even in terms of tower health.
Almost
like down to the line.
Down to the pixel. That is how equally matched Yangon Galacticos and Falcons are. Kaize picking up a Ice Queen 1 here should help with the spell vamp. Should be able to slow down the forward push of Team Falcons. Looking at the rest of their kit. All right, finally, Kyle is firing off on all cylinders. That's something to marvel at, despite the fact that he has a hard, 7-8 minutes that he had to play through. But Marco isn't on the board yet. No kills for this Claude just yet. And I think that's what he was looking for. That's why he was so gung-ho to go into the base.
You know, it's been all eyes on Sanji, though, on this Moscow, but I think the real problem could start to be Kai's. 4-0-1. He's been untouchable. He's been putting out great damage.
What is that, at least 2 or 3 stacks?
Yeah. It's clean for him right now, and it's only going to get better and better as YG start to burst down or at least keep pace on this Lord. Super Marco wants to pull it to their side. The dance is on.
So with the draft that they have, Falcons has a slight advantage on the Lord Dance. Claude, much like the Melissa, can do a singular Lord Dance blink here. Warning shots. Pew, pew. BMI forward. Might force a response out of blink here.
Super Marco.
Man-to-man mark. BMI back.
Is back. How long does that BMI last?
I mean,
feel like he was chasing him for a minute there.
As long as the SOD could. And
shifting skies. Requiem. He catches Ogwin. Kai's gets the kill. Deadly Magic isn't going to be able to finish off Ying. Blink in the backside, able to pull Super Marco away as Kai's gets a double onto Flat. That was the target. That was the bait. And Super Marco wasn't there to help out the team. Now Kai's is on to the next one as Haji falls. Blink goes down. But it's still not enough. 4 members drop on the side of Falcons.
Kaize is out of this world. Massive stacks gain. Falcons fans are at the end of their wits. A singular mistake, maybe a second too long, held inside a bush. A moment of hesitation leads to a 4-for-1 trade. Once again, you can split up the Ubi, but they find a way to collapse into you.
Blink was such an amazing raging sandstorm to delay the engage from Super Marco. He catches Haji and Marco in that hit.
What a bait. For what? The better part of a minute, Blink was conditioning Marco and maybe even the rest of Falcons saying, look, we're going to take it. All you got to do is grab it. It's right underneath their noses. And Falcons fell for it. Because of that, they're down 2K. They're in jeopardy to lose their bottom lane inhibitor. And that's 50 stacks, so 5 kills off of the original 2 before he built the Sky Piercer. This Zushin, I don't know how they're going to kill him. I don't know how Kai's going to die here because, again, prior it was the Sanji watch. Now it seems like even Blink is immortal. How is Kaiser going to get his stacks cut in half?
I don't think there's a way. We will see, though. YG with a beautiful delay on this Lord push. They're going to be able to focus on this mid and top side as the Lord slowly makes his way downtown.
Perfect sync. Mid lane tier 2 drops. Sanji hidden from where the sun don't shine. Is that him on a Malefic gun? I'm pretty sure he has it already. You're not supposed to be able to hit from that range. Blink here. Put down to a third. No way this Lord doesn't jump in. It cracks the inhibitor down bot.
Inhibitors finally fall. Falcons base now vulnerable in the hands of YG. It's a 4K goal lead. 16 minutes in, Leo. We've had a lot of one-sided games so far in the past 4. We were wondering how game 5 was going to be. This is the longest one so far, I'm pretty sure, or at least getting to that clock.
It's about a minute and a half before the Lord spawns lower quarter. Falcons fans can thank the heavens that it's not on the long lane.
Yes.
So that's less of a worry, but given the double clone jutsu BMI on the Space Escape, they can afford it, but this is still something that they could use to their advantage. So far, Yangon Galacticos, man to man, just up on every single role. Again, I can't even count Kyle over Han because Han is a utility jungler. Han doesn't care if he's down on damage. All he needs to do is find the perfect Requiem, which is again set up so perfectly prior to that 4-for-1 trade. Because again, on-demand crowd control. That was the issue in game 1 and 2. Game 5, it haunts Falcons once again. And I'd hate to throw it back to the fact that there's only one Purify, just but one in Super Marco. Passive on Haji, procced off once again.
And that was the big risk we brought up at the beginning of the series. So much crowd control on both sides, so little Purifies. Yes, Super Marco is outputting the damage. Yes, we can see him chipping away on Blink, but he has to put his all onto one person to be able to do that. And while that keeps happening, YG is capitalizing elsewhere in these team fights. YG is finding those violent Requiems. They're finding other targets. We don't have to deal with Super Marco. Blink can handle that. We'll kill the rest.
As soon as Yangon Galacticos find their 1-2 punch, crowd control, CC, AoE on at least 2 or 3, then that's it. Falcons have to fold. So that's why this dance is going to be very, very perilous. Y-Brush getting flushed out by Ogwin. Big knock-up set up here by the Lord. Oh, the massive pull. This might be uncontestable.
I don't think they can make their way in. Kyle's not there. Han able to get it. Into the backside flap. Able to get a nice deadly magic. Han taking a lot of damage. Blink though. Taken out by Super Marco. Blazing duet. Kyle falls though because Ying is there to save them all. And Flap will be next. YG doing what we thought they couldn't. Haji falls and it's one man standing. Ogwin against the world. Ogwin against it all. Kai's with the Maniac. The final nail in the coffin.
Falcons took the fight, and Yangon will take the spoils.
It's been 5 years. 5 years of doubts for Myanmar. 5 years to regain their old glory. And today it took 5 games to finally do it.
The Team Falcons PH, but it's the club champions of last year. Coach Marvs has the honor to do it and will crush Team Falcons after an epic best-of-5 series. All destroyed. Job well done in the semis. Only one more step left for greatness.